This is the Football Corner, reporting on the 2026 World Cup. Today, we'll be talking about the USA. The USA, as many people know, are hosting the World Cup this year, which provides a fantastic opportunity to increase viewership in the sport of soccer. Not only that, but the home advantage that the US has can help propel them to victories in important knockout games. Another thing that will be beneficial to the US is that they have a very experienced coach in Mauricio Pochettino. Pochettino has coached several great teams, such as Tottenham and Chelsea, even taking Tottenham to a Champions League final. Mauricio Pochettino is similar to Ancelotti for Brazil, a foreign coach who comes in and can bring new ideas that can revolutionize the system that these players are playing in. Now, let's start talking about the squad. Starting with the goalkeepers, the US called up Matt Turner, Matt Freese, and Chris Brady. Although I think Matt Turner is pretty solid, and he has been solid for many games for the US, he even played in the 2022 World Cup for them. I feel like if the US wants to go far and have a very competitive team, Matt Turner, Matt Freese, and Chris Brady just aren't good enough. Matt Turner, the starter, has only been a bench player for most of his career in Europe, playing as the second string keeper for teams like Arsenal, Lyon, and Nottingham Forest. Although he has started in the MLS, great goalkeepers are ones who can start in Europe as well. So I think the US does have some pretty decent keepers, but there is certainly room for improvement. Shifting our focus to the fullbacks, the US does have a very good fullback core with Anthony Robinson on the left and Sergiño Dest on the right. Particularly, I really like Sergiño Dest. His dribbling and ability to carry the ball up the pitch are phenomenal, and they can help a lot. And these abilities can help a lot if the US needs support for their wingers. Anthony Robinson is also great for that, but he has even better defense, which can help defend some of the great right wingers that the US will face in some of their games, such as Arda Güler from Turkey. However, the substitutes Max Arfsten and Joe Scally can be a bit hot and cold. Max Arfsten on the left-hand side is extremely attack-minded, so he won't be too much of a help on defense. But I do like Joe Scally on the right-hand side, because he defends quite well and can sometimes contribute in the offense. Although maybe he isn't good enough to start in a knockout game if Sergiño Dest happens to get injured. For the center backs, I think that Chris Richards is a great talent and a great player who I think will eventually become captain for the US. But the other center backs are all fighting for the second position beside Chris Richards. For me, it's still a bit concerning that players like Miles Robinson and Tim Ream are still being called up, because Tim Ream is 38 years old now, and still the US hasn't found a replacement good enough to play in his place. And Miles Robinson, for me, isn't even good enough to be a backup, although he has come up big in the past. Noah Kai Banks would be a great solution to these problems, but unfortunately he seems to have chosen Germany over the US, and I don't think he'll be playing for the USMNT anytime soon. Now we can talk about the midfielders. The US only called up 4 midfielders: Christian Roldan, Sebastian Berhalter, Tyler Adams, and Weston McKennie. If we're being honest, Tyler Adams and Weston McKennie are going to do a lot of heavy lifting, because Christian Roldan and Sebastian Berhalter aren't necessarily great subs. For me, I would have called up Tanner Tessman and Aidan Morris instead of Roldan and Berhalter. Johnny Cardoso would also be a phenomenal option to have, but unfortunately he got injured, so he won't be able to play. I feel like this lack of depth can hurt the US, but if McKennie and Adams manage to stay healthy and avoid suspensions, they'll be fantastic in the midfield. In the attacking midfield position, the US has a lot of depth, with Gio Reyna, Brendan Aronson, and Malik Tillman. Although I think all three are capable of starting, Malik Tillman is the best option out of the three for me, and I believe Mauricio Pochettino thinks the same. Another doubt that I have about these three attacking midfielders is Gio Reyna. Although he has been pretty good in the past for the US and was once a very big prospect that seemed to be up to bigger things, he didn't quite fulfill his potential, and I think there's a better option that should have replaced him at this World Cup, and that is Diego Luna. Diego Luna not only has a lot of technical ability, but he also has a lot of grit and resilience. He works so hard on the pitch, and I feel like he would have been a better addition than Gio Reyna. Another position where the US has some potential game changers is in the wingers. Mauricio Pochettino called up Christian Pulisic, Tim Weah, and Alex Sendejas. Pulisic will be stealing most of the attention here as a star player, but Sendejas and Weah also provide interesting options. Weah can not only play on the right-hand side, fizzing in good crosses and making some good passes, but he can also cut in from the left-hand side and shoot the ball well. Sendejas is more of a traditional right winger, where he cuts in with his left foot and shoots the ball very well. He's also very good at dribbling, which can help ease some of the pressure on the strikers or the midfielders. Last but not least, the US called up three strikers: Folarin Balogun, Ricardo Pepi, and Haji Wright. Honestly, I have no complaints at all here. Balogun and Pepi bring in lots of great movement and expert finishing, while Haji Wright can bring some pace from the bench, which is helpful in games where the players are tired and needs a striker to be making some good runs. That's all for today, but before we leave, I do have a question. Do you think that Pepi could overtake Balogun as the out-and-out starter for the striker position? I'm not sure, but I encourage you to put your answer down below in the comments. Ciao!